So before we get into the power moves, a lot's been made this week about Andy Dalton. In case you haven't seen or heard, Dalton, I guess after a play broke down, he took off on a run, got a couple yards, decided to slide, and got hit in the helmet by Jon Bostic. Bostic was ejected. Dalton was knocked out of the game, and he's in concussion protocol right now. But I guess in the ensuing days, Dan Orlovsky lost his shit. I honestly didn't even see that video. I just saw him looking like a fucking lunatic. And Mike McCarthy called out his team for, I guess, not coming to Dalton's defense. I assume by not getting into a fight with Bostic. So yeah, it's really a weird situation. The first time I saw this was actually on Instagram. I saw a few videos of when Joe Flacco got hit by Kiko Alonso on that one Thursday night game. And then I think it might have been Foles or somebody from whoever was the Eagles quarterback at the time got hit by, I think, Albert Hainsworth. And like their linemen didn't wind up getting into, or their linemen did wind up getting into fights with Alonso and Hainsworth. Um, but in this case, the Dallas linemen didn't get into fights. Instead, they like ran up to Dalton to see if he was all right. What do you think of the situation? I guess first off, what do you think about McCarthy calling out his team?
Yeah, I think if McCarthy is going to call out his team, he should definitely do that in house. It seems like everything with Dallas right now is just being like leaked and making everything worse. But I could see why he did that to be like put him on blast to be, to say like that's your quarterback, you're supposed to protect him no matter what. I don't know, like it was an interesting situation because they didn't react at all. Like no one even got in his face. It was like, "Yo, what the fuck?" type thing. But also, I played high school football and I played offensive line. Sometimes, like you had that mentality of protecting your quarterback, but sometimes it was like your quarterback can defend himself. He doesn't always need you coming over and saying like, "Yo, dude, get away from him," whatever. But in this case, he was unconscious. Like he
Yeah.
was knocked out cold, so he didn't even have a chance to defend himself to get in Bostic's face or whatever it was. So it was surprising that nobody said anything. Nobody was like, "Yo, dude, that's not." I don't know. Sometimes it's like I'm like 50-50 on this. Sometimes I'm like, is it really your job to protect them after the play, or is it your job to protect them during the play? And then I look back when last year, when Mike Pouncey practically freaking went WWE
Yeah.
on Miles
Miles
Garrett when
Garrett,
he did
yeah.
that to Mason Rudolph. Mason Rudolph was the backup quarterback. He's a dweeb and a half. And he's still, that instinct kicked in where he's like, that's my teammate. I'm going to go after whoever I got to go after. So I think the bigger picture here just shows that this Dallas team doesn't look that cohesive. Even if it wasn't Dak Prescott back there, it was, Andy Dalton. No one really showed any, even if you don't care about Andy Dalton, it was one of your players got smacked. So it's like you I guess sometimes you kind of still, if you're part of a team, you still feel like, oh, I just got hit. Let me go and get in the guy's face or whatever. I don't know.
I think one of the players did like walk up to Dalton like to check on him to see if he's all right because obviously he's not moving. But yeah, maybe it's different as like an offensive lineman. Like your instincts always protect the quarterback and I guess fight on his behalf. It's just weird that you'd pick a fight with a guy like last season when the whole Mason Rudolph thing happened. Like Rudolph and Garrett started like scrapping, like pulling helmets off and stuff, and that's why a big fight broke out. And Pouncey got involved, DDTing and people and shit. But I think the way it happened, like Bostic hit him and just like kind of kept running a little, and it's weird. I don't always understand players getting into fights after a hit. Like even as a quarterback, I would want my players to make sure like I'm okay rather than fight, the guy that hit me. And then for a coach to call out his offensive lineman for not getting into a fight, I guess it's almost like cooler heads prevailed in that situation because they knew Bostic was going to get ejected. Why get myself ejected too? It's at the end of the day, it's not going to do anything. Maybe it'll tell my quarterback I care about him, but I think checking up on my quarterback and making sure he's still alive is another way of telling him that I care about him.
Yeah, for sure. And that's why I think that Mike McCarthy's. I think you should have kept that in house because that's something I think you tell your team. Like you show them the play and be like, okay, there's one Washington player who just committed this, just standing around and nobody's here in his face, nobody's ready to whatever. This is how I want my team to act, right? Um, you know, they've been playing college and high school their whole life, but you don't know if their high school coaches or college coaches told them to react that way. What if they said, if Jon Bostic's about to get ejected, let the ref handle it. You don't have to do anything. You know what I mean? So you don't know what their philosophy is on that whole situation. So if Mike McCarthy wants his team to defend his quarterback at all costs, make sure he's safe or whatever way to do that, I think he should have kept it in house because, maybe that's shade at, his, I don't want to say his team, but his PR staff or whatever was going on because earlier in the year, they, obviously came out saying that he wasn't a good coach and they suck. They don't develop players or whatever. And then this is his way of saying, like, these players are bozos. They didn't affect they don't even protect the quarterback. So I don't know. It's a really weird situation going on in Dallas. I don't know why he didn't keep it in the house, but he definitely felt the need to put his whole team on blast. And I guess we'll see what happens going forward. Logically, it makes sense to protect him without getting a penalty, but you don't know what these refs are going to do. These refs are fucking trigger happy out there.
Yeah, I feel like if maybe they didn't see flags or something, they would start causing an uproar, but it was after the fact. Like everybody knew Bostic was going to, I don't know, I guess escalating it into a fight, at least to me. I mean, I've never been in a situation where I had to protect a quarterback or was a quarterback laying on the ground there. But I don't think a fight will solve anything. If anything, I feel like I would want to protect, check on my quarterback, make sure he's getting medical attention right away.
Right, for sure. So, I don't know. Weird situation
And
overall over there.
I think McCarthy actually said that during a press conference. I might be wrong, but I think McCarthy actually said that during a press conference. So,
From my understanding, yeah, he put it out on like blast in that press
yeah,
conference.
so it wasn't even like stuff that was leaked. So
Right,
I don't know
exactly.
what he's doing there, what his method of coaching is, but I feel like this is not the effective way to do it.
Yeah, I wouldn't keep because it's the same way you don't want your player in the podium saying, "Oh, my coach didn't call the right play." You don't
Yeah,
want your coach going out there saying, "Oh, my players aren't defending the right way."
right.
So that stuff you keep in house, and I think it was a mistake for him just to put everyone on blast. I get why he's trying to do it; he's trying to send a message, but I mean, you do that in house. Your players should listen to you in your own building, let alone out on the podium.
I
So
mean, this message you're trying to send could be misconstrued by people like us being like, does this guy even want to be a coach here? Like, does he even get along with these players? Why is he calling out his own team in front of the whole world?
yeah, for sure. Like it just opens the door for a lot more things than just protect your players type shit.
Yeah. Thank you for listening in to this clip of the Moose Bros podcast. If you enjoyed this, please like, comment below, and subscribe to this channel to see more clips just like this one. If you want to listen to the whole podcast, you can find us at Spotify or Apple Podcasts under Moose Bros Sports.